So like a lot of real estate agents, I've heard a lot about ADUs and I have customers who are very interested in the topic, but the reality is there's a huge gap between the concept of ADU and people actually do them successfully and cost effectively for a living. One of the people I watched, build out a business based on ADUs is Kendyl Young. I've known her as a real estate agent in the Glendale area for years, and just I had a chance to reach out to her, and so we could chat together about the ADU business. So Kendyl, what's going on?
Well, just kind of give your viewers a little background. I've been a real estate agent for 37 years now. I think it's 37 years.
You and me both.
I'm also a second generation real estate agent. So I've been immersed in this for a very, very long time. And before COVID, my architect and a past client approached me about creating a prefabricated ADU business. And so that's what we did through COVID. And it was tons of fun. And oh my God, did I learn a lot. I got to tell you, Bill, I have remodeled 7 houses, full kitchens. I've done most of the work myself, me and my husband. And yet I realized in doing ADUs that I know so little about actually building ADUs. And I've shut down the ADU business. So none of you guys don't call me saying my client wants to build an ADU. Can you build it for him? Because I can't. I don't do that. Although I do have referrals for you. What I realized is that real estate agents are the best human beings on the planet to help people use ADUs to solve their housing problems, right? I mean, we all know housing has been so challenging. Prices are high, interest rates are high. There's not enough homes on the market for them to choose from. People need housing, and ADUs are an out-of-the-box solution. I got to tell you guys, waving your hands in the air and saying, you should buy an ADU or there's room for an ADU in the backyard, it's not enough. And we are the ones that have the trust of our clients to help them cross the divide of, oh my gosh, I could never build a mini house in my backyard, or that's too much, or I'm afraid, or they fill in the gap. We've all heard them, right? We are the ones that have the trust of the clients that can help them actually use ADUs to solve their housing issues. And so that's what I am leaning into right now. I want to marry my real estate sales career, which is arguably pretty deep. I've probably sold close to, at this point, maybe even 3,000 homes. I used to say 2,000, but I said that a long time ago. So maybe it's 3,000 homes that I've sold, right? So to marry that experience of helping families figure out how to overcome their fears and buy a home, right? Or sell a home, or buy and sell a home, to marry that expertise with my ADU experience of what contractors know. Contractors are awesome human beings. They know so much, but can we all agree they're not necessarily trained communicators? Right? So that's what I'm doing. So I have my ADU masterclass, and we could talk about that a little bit, but
yes, that's what I want to talk about. That's why I reached out to you, because I saw the class. So that's great. I need to take it. I need to ask some friends who need to take it, and let's find out more about it and promote it. So before we get into the solution, let's talk about some more of the problems. I'm a real estate agent. I get called all the time. Hey, I think I can add an ADU in my house. I want to add an ADU in my house. My mother-in-law wants to live with us. We're at one extra income. I saw this article. It sounds easy. And so, in my experience, that is not as easy as it sounds. Some properties, even though they might be zoned available, aren't really suitable. Sometimes that garage that sounds like an easy ADU doesn't really qualify as an ADU because the foundation isn't quite there. So what would be the opportunity for somebody who's looking at a property and says, this might be something that I could really benefit from? What are the scenarios that make the most sense?
Well, there's 2 things going on here. The first question you're asking is, my client, somebody in my sphere of influence, is asking me, can I build an ADU in my backyard? That's one issue. Closely related to that is my client has come to me and they would like to buy a property
Mm,
with an ADU, or they'd like to buy a property and add an ADU. How do I even begin that conversation, right?
right.
And so the thing that your viewers need to start with is understanding the ADU statewide laws. That's a really good place to start, right? Because it used to be that in order to build a granny flat or a guest house in your backyard, you had to follow all these rules, Florida area ratio. You had to replace parking if you converted your garage. There was all this stuff. And the laws have been improved starting in 2020, but they continue to be improved every year. That makes it much easier. So here's three important things that your viewers should know. Number one, you have to be allowed to build a new ADU that is at least 800 square feet. Like, your city can't say no. They have to allow you to do it. Number two, the setbacks have been relaxed, 4 feet from the back, 4 feet from the sides. And as long as your ADU is under 800 square feet, floor area ratio, that doesn't factor in. So your ADU can take up pretty much your whole backyard as long as it's 4 feet from the back, 4 feet from the side. And then how far it is from your existing house, that's going to vary city by city. But let's go with 10 feet because that's pretty common. Yeah. All right. So that's super important. And the third thing that your viewers should remember is that, it just went away. Oh, you don't have to replace parking. So if you convert your garage, you're not going to have to build a new garage or carport, right? So that massively changes the
Game changer.
calculation of what's doable in your backyard for ADUs. So there's a bunch more, and that is part of what I teach in my ADU masterclass, but those are three really, really important points.
One of the concerns that kind of bit a client of mine was, before I got involved with him, he had built an ADU and came to realize that as a result, the original single-family home now came under, in the city of Los Angeles, the rent stabilization ordinance, or rent control, as we understand that. So is that common in other cities, or is that just a Los Angeles thing where they kind of bite you with that? Because once you put the property under rent control, you could end up giving back all the value you created with an ADU.
Well, I would challenge that by quite a bit, because you're still going to be able to rent them out. You're still going to be able to raise the rents. And it is becoming not only a statewide thing, but a nationwide thing, where it's becoming harder and harder to kick people out of a rental simply because you want to raise the rents. Yeah. So I would challenge that. Part of the ADU movement is to provide what we call the missing middle in housing. So the concept is that ADUs will occupy a place in the rent affordability spectrum, somewhere between really, really dense apartments and luxury or larger single family dwellings, right? ADUs are the missing middle, and it is a slice of housing that we just don't have enough of.
Yeah.
So the question, I'm sorry, I'm being very roundabout, and I'm not actually answering your question. The answer to your question is, in Los Angeles, yes, that is a situation. It is, I won't say unique to Los Angeles, yeah, but it is happening in other cities, but not very much.
Right.
It's really more of an LA City thing, and it's LA City, not LA County.
Right.
Yeah,
correct.
But that isn't a reason to not build an ADU. Just saying.
Well, it's a reason to pay attention and figure it out before you start. If you live in the main house, you don't have that issue. If you have bad tenants to begin with, you don't build an ADU in the back to get more income, because now you're going to make it hard. You build the front house, and that's what this client did. He thought, "Oh, I'll make money by renting out the back." Not really, because now you've made it worse. And they had a COVID era bad tenant who, once they had ADU now became a rent stabilization tenant, and that was just a
But I
complete.
will say that, and this needs saying, is we are entering into a business environment where it is less and less a thing where you're an average homeowner and I'm just going to rent out the back and it's just going to be willy-nilly. Professional vetting of tenants by somebody who really knows what they're doing is becoming more and more important. Yeah. So
Yeah, I
just
think
take
you're
that under advisement.
I think you're 100% right. I think it's a business. If you think about, if you're renting a property out for, $10,000 a month, it's $120,000 a year business that you are now running, and you need to, I think, act appropriately. And if you don't act appropriately, you can, like any business, find yourself in trouble. Flipping hamburgers sounds simple, but once you have employees and health code issues, and I think running business is no different. So I think the thing that I know, even though, like you, I've been in this business 37 years, sold not as many as you, but a lot of houses. And I pride myself on knowing a lot of the details and complications. This is an area that really requires some expertise and some training. And so I know what caught my attention was you're offering a ADU masterclass coming up on the 11th, which I think
For real estate agents
for real estate
specifically.
agents. So
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about what that is about and what the opportunity is for people to learn and be more professional in their real estate practice.
Well, here's the thing that I realized. We're asked by our clients all the time about ADUs, and it's generally more of an expressed wish than an actual strategy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I realized in preparing, and this has been a journey for me, is that there are opportunities to use ADUs to help people buy houses that maybe weren't able to buy a house at all
Right.
without using the tool that is ADUs. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to encourage people to think outside the box. When you add an ADU to the general strategy, the toolbox, if you will, how does it change things for people? What does that look like? And then with an understanding of who could now buy a house that maybe couldn't buy before, how do we use that in creating new relationships, in our marketing, in our prospecting, to sell more houses and help more people find home? Because I tell you, we think we know how ADUs can be used,
Mm-hmm.
but we haven't taken it far enough to understand how this goes. So here, let me give you an example, because stories are great. We all encounter people who would like to buy their first house, but they're like, oh my God, I could never afford to do that. Even if they have the ability or willingness to bring on additional cash from their family, let's say, and there's all kinds of reasons for that. I wouldn't want to ask my mom, whatever, but let's just say that that is available. It is possible for a first-time home buyer that has managed to cobble together a 20% down payment, and I see them all the time. It's astonishing how much money these kids have, right? But maybe they're afraid of the payment. They're afraid of the decrease in lifestyle for the doubling of their monthly payment. And they're like, I can't see my way doing this. What if they were to buy that first house? They were to, with no additional cash investment, that same 20% as a down payment, they're able to finance 100% of the build of an ADU. And let's just say they're really like aggressive and business wise. They move into the ADU and they rent out the front house, right? In every calculation that I have done, that equals a lower monthly payment than the original house payment, just buy the house with 20% down payment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
And in some cases, it delivers a lower monthly payment than their original rent.
Well,
right?
well.
And I've got a story in my master class that illustrates how this young couple, they are able to do what I just mentioned. They had $1,200 that they were able to put against their mortgage in extra payments, $1,200 a month in extra payments. They were able to pay off the cost of the ADU inside of 8 years.
Wow.
That means that now the ADU is just positive, 100% positive cash flow to
Nice.
either create financial resiliency or to continue paying down their mortgage, or because they're young kids, buy an investment property and do it again.
Right. Beautiful.
Now, this is an amazing business plan for a real estate agent to help a first-time buyer get into a house that didn't think they could buy a house,
Right.
and to show them how they can create cash and wealth that will then become generational wealth because they're going to buy their first investment property. Are they going to do it again with them? Yes.
Right.
Are they going to recommend them with the most amazing recommendation you ever had to all their friends? Yes.
Yeah.
Will this massively change your real estate agent's business? Oh my God, yes. Are we going to have to buy leads from Zillow for strangers that ghost you and waste your time?
No.
No.
That's the one question I know the answer to about ADUs. You don't need to buy Zillow leads. That for sure. I know that.
Is that exciting? I mean, I'm getting excited just thinking about it. It is becoming harder and harder and harder for real estate agents to get started in this business. Having this expertise is going to make, I hate the word game changer because it's overused, but it is.
Right.
It will fundamentally change the experience of a new agent who is starting to build their business.
Well, I can. I think that's the thing. And what I tell all agents is you get paid more if you know more, right? The money we collect is a reflection of the value we create for the customers. And so I think this is every agent I know struggles to define their value. And I'm in the probate world. I have agents who come to me all the time and want to get involved with probate. I'm glad to help, but it's not for all agents. It doesn't fit. And I think that the ADU really fits so well for so many agents, but you have to put the time in to really learn the product, to learn the process. Right. And if you want to make, $25,000 commission check selling $1 million house, you need to invest the time and the energy into learning this process, and you put that together. So that's why I jumped when I saw your program. At KendylYoung.com is her website. If you scroll down just a little bit, there's ADU classes and workshops. You can click on that. We're recording this on Monday, January 8th, and the next program offering she has is this Thursday, January 11th. I'm not getting anything for this. I'm not getting a referral fee, I just want agents who want to build their business, who this strikes their passion, to go for it. One of my best clients, he's actually my swim coach. I'm on an adult swim team. And he's been working on 2 ADUs, one for his house and one for his mother's. And I made a couple referrals to people based on who I knew. And it was difficult because I didn't really feel like I even had the right place to send him, let alone help him myself. I didn't really even have the right place to send him. And so I saw Kendyl's doing this. I know she's fantastic. And I was really excited to see the program we're offering. Kendyl, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Wish you the best of luck as you continue to build out your ADU program and teaching other real estate agents. Thank you so much on behalf of all the agents.
Thank you for the opportunity. And I hope that I can help educate anyone in your audience about the opportunity that is ADUs.
Thanks again.